After I came back from that house, I wasn't the same person anymore. I can admit that now. But back then, I didn't even understand what was happening to me. Was it fear? Yes. But it was something worse than fear. Confusion. The kind that slowly eats away at your ability to tell what's real and what's just happening inside your head. It started with small things. So small that if anyone else had experienced them, they probably would have brushed them off. Lying in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, I'd suddenly feel like someone was in the room with me. I'd open my eyes. Nothing. Empty room. Closed door. Silence. And yet my body refused to relax. Every instinct screamed, "You're not alone." Sometimes I thought I heard my name being whispered. Other times I'd think a sentence in my head, and a second later I'd hear it spoken out loud, in my own voice. That's when the real fear began, because I could no longer tell. Was something actually happening, or was my mind breaking under pressure? Daniel and Emily weren't okay either. We talked on the phone almost every day. Daniel's voice had changed. Before, he sounded exhausted. Now, he sounded hunted. Emily barely spoke anymore. One night, she finally said something that stayed with me. She whispered into the phone, "Do you ever feel like whatever we're seeing can see us too?" I didn't answer, because that exact thought had already been living in my head. One night, around 3 a.m., I heard footsteps in my apartment hallway. Slow, careful. I knew I was alone. Still, I got up and opened my bedroom door. The hallway was empty. That same night, I made a mistake. I turned my camera on. I told myself, if this is all in my head, the camera won't catch anything. The next morning, I reviewed the footage. I saw myself sitting on the bed, but I wasn't alone. In the corner of the frame, something was standing there, completely still, facing the camera, watching. After that, things started to fall apart. Days blended into nights. Nights blended into something worse. Sometimes I'd wake up convinced I was still dreaming. That's when I remembered an old friend of mine. We went to college together. He was always into strange subjects, folklore, rituals, unexplained phenomena. People used to laugh at him. But his uncle was different. People didn't laugh about him. They avoided him. He was known for dealing with things no one else wanted to touch. Paranormal cases. Dark ones. I hesitated for a long time before calling. But when I finally did, I didn't lie. For the first time, I told someone everything. My friend stayed silent the entire time. Then he said, "Listen carefully. If he refuses to help, that means whatever you're dealing with is already too far gone." The next day, his uncle agreed to come. When he arrived at my apartment, the first thing that struck me was his expression. No fear, no curiosity, just calm. He walked through my place slowly, touching the walls, standing still in certain corners, listening. After nearly 20 minutes, he finally spoke. "Something followed you here," he said. My chest tightened. He looked at me and said, "Take me back to that house. Daniel and Emily's house." The moment we arrived, the atmosphere felt heavier than before. As soon as my friend's uncle stepped inside, his body language changed. His breathing became shallow. 5 minutes. That's all he lasted. Then he rushed back outside like he couldn't get away fast enough. "What did you see?" I asked. He didn't answer. Instead, he stood in the yard, staring at the house, for a long time, completely silent, his head slightly tilted, as if he was listening to something no one else could hear, listening very carefully. Finally, he turned toward Daniel and Emily. His voice was low, but firm. "You two," he said. "You're coming with me." There was no room for argument, only authority, and something darker beneath it. All four of us got into his car. The entire drive, no one spoke, not a single word. The silence inside that car was heavier than anything I'd felt inside the house. When we reached my apartment, he made us sit in the living room. Then he looked directly at Daniel and Emily. "I want the truth," he said. "All of it." Daniel stared at the floor. Emily started crying. I had no idea what was happening. Then my friend's uncle suddenly shouted, "You don't have much time left!" The room froze. That broke Daniel. His shoulders collapsed, and he finally spoke. The truth about their father's death wasn't an accident. One night, during a violent argument, Daniel and Emily pushed their father down the stairs. They didn't mean to kill him, but they didn't call for help either. They panicked. They cleaned up. They told everyone it was an accident. And they lived in that house, built on a lie. The spirit wasn't trying to hurt us. It wasn't seeking revenge. It was trapped, desperate. It followed me because I was the first person who came close to listening. It wasn't haunting me. It was asking for help. Help for justice. The next morning, the police arrived. Daniel and Emily were arrested. The house was sealed. No one was allowed back inside. Before he left, my friend's uncle said something I'll never forget. "Not every spirit comes to scare the living," he said. "Some come because no one else is willing to hear them." After that day, everything stopped. No whispers, no dreams, no footsteps. But sometimes, when I turn my camera on late at night, I still feel like someone is watching. Not angry, not sad, just relieved.